Welcome back. It's the Kovacs, and this week we are getting a new #1 from DC, CORT, Children of the Round Table. Now, this book was by Tom Taylor and Daniele Di Nicuolo, and it's an all-ages book, and I thought I wasn't going to like it, but it's Tom Taylor, and I love Tom Taylor, so I thought I'm going to give it a go, and I'm really, really glad I did. It's a whole bundle of fun. So, as per usual, you know the drill. I'm going to go through page by page. If you don't want the book spoilt, read it first. Like the video if you can. And you know what, guys? If you're new here, don't just watch the video and disappear. No. Hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this channel. I really appreciate it. You're going to get honest reviews every week and some other stuff thrown in for good measure. And I really appreciate your support. So let's get on to this book. So this whole book revolves around the British myth and legend of Sir Arthur and the sword in the stone, Excalibur. Yes, that very, very famous sword from British mythology. Now, I am in Britain, so I've heard this since I was a child. And this is a continuation of the myth, essentially, but, you know, in DC's world. And boy, oh boy, is it fun. It says, trained by myths, destined to be legends. That's exactly what this book delivers. So the art, let's talk about Daniele Di Nicuolo's art. It is really, really fitting, okay? It's got a slight manga feel to it. It's kinetic. It's got energy. I love it. The art really, really suits the story and the themes in this book. So I don't think I've seen Daniele Di Nicuolo's art before, and I'm really glad I have. I'm going to search out some other stuff that she's done. But anyway, we start in Cornwall, England, and we're at The Hill. Okay, Cornwall is a sort of, it's by the sea over here, a lovely place to visit. It has some lovely tourist attractions. So if you are ever in the UK, down the south, do go to Cornwall. It is beautiful. So, beautiful birds sitting in the trees, and there's an explosion. And we see this giant rock just absolutely flying into the sky, into the atmosphere. There's a huge, huge explosion. And we dive into The Hill, which looks like some secret sort of underground complex. We get these two uniformed, typically British uniformed workers, let's say agents, and they are rushing. They are rushing to where that explosion came from. And they discover that the stone, right, took off. That's what has flown out of the this underground base. It's a giant stone. What kind of stone? I wonder what kind of stone, right? Anyway, she says, listen, it's time then. It's time for a new generation. So this signals that this stone has kicked off the beginning of a new generation of what? Obviously, it's going to be heroes, and it suggests that this is a recurring thing. Maybe every so many generations, this stone decides to, you know, go somewhere and start the process all over again. Now we meet these little young heroes. They're playing football, or as we call, or rather you call it over in the US, soccer. And we're introduced to very, very differing characters. You know, you've got the one that's for the pride, the clever one, the one that thinks a little bit more before they do something, the one that rushes in. So you've got that sort of like choose your character D&D adventure style where you can pick the kind of character you want. So we meet Fell here. Now, she's the young lady with the red hair, and she's been goaded by Connor. He's in goal. Okay, and he's like trying to sort of psych her out before she takes this penalty kick, right? So I'm guessing this whole game rests on this last final kick. Now she takes her shot and she absolutely drives it into the back of the net, winning the game. And you see the two teams there, and Connor here walks away dejected. He's lost the game. His pride's been hurt, obviously. His ego's taken a bit of a dent. And his grandmother's there saying, listen, you know what? You were so close to reaching that. He said, look, close isn't good enough, Grandma. So I'm getting from him, he has something to prove. I'm also getting from him that maybe he's a bit of a perfectionist, you know, and we then move on to Fell. Now, I guess she's going to be the lead character because we are focusing on her straight away. She's chatting to her mother. Now, she says, listen, Mum, me and my friends were going on a quest. It will be fraught with danger. So she's getting very much into character for this little adventure that they're going on. Of course, they're kids. They're basically going to go and play in the woods, right? That's what we all did if we had woods. And I went on adventures in the woods. But she says, listen, I need you to take the dog. Take the dog. The dog's called Cabal, which is a great name. And she says, listen, you have to take responsibility for him. You wanted a puppy. And Fell says, no, you wanted me to have a puppy as a four-legged hairy replacement for Dad leaving. She says, your father didn't leave Fell. I kicked him out. She says, I know. Big, important difference. So we're learning she's a single mother trying to raise her child on her own. So that has its, like, you know, perils and pitfalls as well. So she reluctantly decides to take the dog. She's not happy about it, but mama's word rules, as it should. So She hands over a phone because the rules of this quest, this mission they're going on, is that there's no screens, no devices. Otherwise, they get distracted. You know what kids are like? Well, I know what I'm like. I can't be anywhere without a screen on. And off she pops to meet her friends at the base of the Hollywood Hills. Now, Ash, Connor, Randall, Kelly, Kevin, and Hanan. These are essentially going to be the children of the round table, I guess. And we learn a little bit about their personalities here through their sort of banter and how they're acting. One's brought his phone along. You could tell he's a bit of a rebel, but the phone is snatched away because rules are rules. Now, they're talking about visiting this cave and it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be a huge adventure. But one of the guys like, listen, I went there with my grandmother. She's had like more hip replacements than she has hips. It's not that scary. He's not really into it, He doesn't care. He's not involved in this, doesn't really want to go. But, he is coming along. It's his group of friends, I take it. Now, while they're talking about visiting this cave, old Cabal here starts barking because something is coming. And it's that huge, huge giant stone that we saw fly into the air from this secret base somewhere else. And we watch it plummet to the ground and there's an absolute huge explosion. So the kids were like, what the hell's going on? And it's a bit like Indiana Jones here with the boulder, the trap where he takes the thing. What is it? I can't remember the stone. What's the stones called in Indiana Jones? Anyway, the fiery boulder is chasing them down. They're running and they jump off this little ledge. And just before this huge stone is about to crush them, it doesn't. And they turn around to see the boulder has stopped. And there's a giant, giant sword sticking out of it. Obviously, this is Excalibur, the famous, famous King Arthur's sword. Now, the rules around this sword are, if you are worthy, just like Thor's hammer, if you can pull the stone, or rather the sword from the stone, right, you are the rightful heir to England, the rightful heir to the throne. So, of course, old Billy Big Balls here decides that he's going to go first, right? And he climbs up to that stone. And he gives it everything he's got, and he just can't pull it out. You can see him straining there. It looks really funny. And old Fel here decides to walk over to it, cash, all calm. And she says, I can feel something. She can feel something. She believes that the sword wants to be free. It's almost like it's talking to her. And she pulls it and raises it to the sky. So she is worthy. And they're all shocked, like, what's going on? Now, before they can celebrate that they've got the stone, the meteor starts sort of like basically erupting and explodes. And what it delivers is not death and destruction, but a weapon to each of the kids. They all get their own weapons here. So they're all differing weapons. Again, it's like that Dungeons and Dragons thing. You've got the archer, you've got the warrior with the shield. You've got all the other kind of like, not stereotypes, but archetypes, sort of forming here. Now, they all get their own weapon and they're deciding what to do with it, right? And they're like, right, we got to take this to the police. And they can hear the police coming, actually. The sirens are coming. And they're like, yes, best thing to do. These are weapons. They're dangerous. We should give them to police. But some are saying, no. We shouldn't give the weapons to the police. These weapons, they chose us. They chose us. They belong to us. Maybe we shouldn't give them to police. Now, while they're sort of about to argue about this, the sword speaks. And it says, the young maiden is correct. Who said that? Because I did. And they're all pretty like, what's going on? Your sword is talking. He says, no, Excalibur does not speak. It has great power, but no voice. I am Arthur Pendragon. I am one with the blade. So Arthur Pendragon, as you already know, is the famous King Arthur. He's the sort of big hero of the myth. And she says, King Arthur? He says, I'm no longer king. The time of my rule has ended. And then, out of nowhere, all the other weapons start talking too. And they're quite funny. So you've got the classic characters from the myth. You've got Lancelot, you've got Gawain. You've got all the characters that you expect from the Round Table here. They've all sort of possessed, or rather in control of a weapon. And they've all got their own personalities. They have a little jibe between the two of them and a little bit of infighting. It's really funny. It's really, really cool. Anyway. The time is now, and that's what's happening. So it's time to run, basically. So old Arthur here through the sword says, listen, you need to take these weapons. You need to hide them in your homes. Run. Yes, flee as fast as you can. They will be coming. And the kids are like, who will be coming? And of course, the villains are coming. The agents of Mordred. We knights of the Round Table will train you, but you cannot face the enemy today. Today you run, today you hide. For in the tomorrows to come, you must take on a tyrant and save the world. So, I thought this was a whole bundle of fun. It's a really cool concept. I love it when they take something that's real, I guess, and they weave it into a sort of modern storytelling and give it a little spin. That's exactly what Tom Taylor has done here. Now, like I say, it is an all ages book, as you can see, but it's a fun all ages book that adults can enjoy. It's like watching a Pixar movie. That's how I feel about it. Now, the art has that very energetic sort of sort of manga feel to it, which really adds to the action and the characters, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I thought this was so much fun. It kind of reminds me of that feeling reading the first Runaway series from years ago. You know, you've got these young characters, they've been forced into a situation, you know, that's exactly what these guys have been done. The responsibility has been thrust upon them, and we're going to see what happens to them. So again, I thoroughly recommend it. It's a whole load of fun. If you've got a coffee break, pick it up and have your favourite cake or biscuit, a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, and read it and have loads of fun. Trained by myths, destined to be legends. That fits it perfectly. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Hopefully you will have liked the video by now and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.